Hello, everyone. All right. Let's see where I left off. Yeah, so yesterday I was thinking about... I got the portal mechanic working. Shoot a portal. Shoot a portal. And there you go. There's your portal mechanic. I think I'm going to start setting up scenarios where you actually have to use the portal. That's one option, or I can work on like the stopping time mechanic. So you shoot, and then you're able to stop time like that. And then during that period, shoot a portal. I think. Alright, so let's say you're here. One idea that I had that I need to look through is, alright, you go up here. Let's say there's like a door that needs to be opened in this area. So you create a portal to that door. Come back here. Set up your portal. And you hit like the door button, which is timed, and you don't have enough time to actually make it up here and go through the door, so you have to go through the portal. So you hit the button and then quickly make it through the door. And another idea that I had was, let's say you're over here. Create another portal. And let's say you create a portal here. And you hit a button like up here, but the button requires you to the button like creates like lava in that specific area down there. So what you have to do is, let me see if I can actually do this. So you're up here, you hit the button, and then you have to go down through the portal because you don't have enough energy to maybe come back up. So that's another idea. So the portal can be used for timing and then for escape. What I'm concerned with is that I can add a new mechanic, like the ability to use the portal, like with time stopped. I kind of flesh out that idea, or I can actually start working on like level design and stuff. And I don't know what the best approach is here. Because I care about like the movement of everything, and thinking about like how to do those kind of movements. Well, okay, so let me do this. What I'll do instead is not worry about stopping time, and just get it to where you can aim and shoot portals while in flight, and see how painful that is. Yeah, I think that might end up working okay. And I mean, and from that perspective, like, why not allow for them to launch while in the air? So, but if you can launch, then what's the need for the orbital management system? This is tricky. Like, I like how everything moves. Maybe I should do level design. Let me get the potential some level design around this before I start adding new mechanics, and see if I can explore this this idea of timing for doors and stuff. That's cool. I can actually go through portals to while in level editor mode. All right, so when a button opens a door, yeah, let's start with that. All right, so let me create. Yeah, let me look at level editing first. All right, so here's my terrain. It'll be nice to get back to level editing with respect to like a more complicated interaction, like an actual door. Yeah, so how do I even do this from a level editor standpoint? I've got the ability to create terrain, lava, checkpoints. So if I create... Do I want to separate buttons and doors? I don't know. I don't know. Let's get a door placed first. Let's get a concept of a door working. Let's get a concept of door working, and then we'll take it from there. And this will give me an opportunity to refactor the level editor machinery out too. So I think that's overall good to concentrate on the level editor again. Level editor. And what am I doing in the level editor? Here's my tick function. So I've got a calc level editor and render. And I think calc does both. Yeah, it does both input and calculation stuff. I think I'm okay with that. So let's get rendering working first, because that should be a simpler idea. Same thing here. I like the idea of having a prefabs concept, and then just have results with primitives inside. And then I'll do, let's say, outputs.primitives is equal to level editor.prefabs. Sorry. Prefabs, and then level, and then results.prefabs. And then I need to require the level editor. Cool, that's rendering, so then I should be able to take this, add the label for the mode. State is not in there. Game mode. Alright, so game mode needs to be passed in. Cool with that. I actually like this approach to refactoring too. Just kind of do it a line at a time. It's primitives, not prefabs. Primitives, result.primitives, and then results. Alright, so that's rendering correctly. Then I want the collision type to be moved over. Throw that into primitives also. Same thing here. State level editor collision type isn't in place. So I want to do game mode and then pass in the level editor state. The collision type is in rendering, WTF. There we go. The train's in place. That's good. And then this would be the specific mouse itself. So I set each one of the mouse positions. So this is interesting. These primitives are at the top level. And then I have other primitives that are within the scene. So that's a structure that I haven't encountered before yet. I could make the labels relative to the circle, but that's kind of annoying. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Having top level primitives and then scene primitives. Kind of breaks the structure that I have for the other modules, but I think that's... We'll start with this and take it from there. Yep, and then I've got scene primitives. State dot level editor. Change that to level editor state. And then this one would be called results. Scene primitives. And it has to take in a player and a camera. Alright? Seems to be a general... all these modules end up taking a player and a camera. Which I'm okay with. And I only want to render these results if the game mode is yeah. So I always want to render this. That's the top level primitive. Hey Lovey, how's it going? See if that gives us what I want. Yep. So I'm in play mode. When I press G, I'm in level editor mode. No point is created, so mouse and world space is... So I want the mouse position. Mouse and camera is another thing. Alright. I want the mouse. Mouse and world space, passing the mouse. Recovering from the school week. Yeah, it's crazy when you get out of school. Like, you get all this time and you're like, when did I have all this time before? And then you get a job and you lose all your time again. So mouse and world space, I need the mouse. I need to pass in the mouse. I need the zoom. I need the zoom to be passed in. Maybe zoom needs to be part of camera instead of at the top level the way it is right now. I'll refactor that afterwards. Camera, mouse, and zoom. Yeah, holiday. You have holidays coming up? Holidays are definitely nice. Yeah, zoom definitely needs to be part of the camera. I'll make that refactor after I get this moved over. So mouse and world space, got that working, or that'll be passed in. All the parameters that I need should be passed in. Prefab, camera, inputs.mouse, and then zoom. Alright, so I'm in level editor mode. Yep. Mouse and world space is... needs to be a module function. Player is passed in, alright. Why not do the... Yeah, I've done that in the past. It just depends on the number of functions that I have. That's really it. I've got 2 functions, so it's like, do I really need to do the self and everything? That's really it. Then I always forget the syntax. The class self end is one of those things like, well, how do I do the syntax again? But yeah, I don't know what the threshold is for me where I decide to go, I need this to just be module methods. Another option I have is doing something like this. Level editor module. And I have def foobar, and then here do extend level editor module. And that'll make them all class level methods. That's another option. But yeah, it just kind of depends. My thought process is that since you do all static methods anyways, just make it simpler. Yeah, it definitely, like, you're absolutely right. Like, the specific mistake that I made was like, oh, I forgot the self in mouse world space. That might be enough of a reason to go ahead and take that approach. Let me do that. I think that that is like a pretty objective thing. Is this how it works? Class equals self, and then there's like an end or something? Alright, so class self end. Yep, that seemed to work. But you're right. I think that makes sense because I mean, we just saw me make the mistake of not making the world space what I expected it to be. Done. I'll probably do that. I think it's worth doing that from here on out. Good suggestion. Alright, mouse and world space. That looks good. Let me see if my actual mouse interaction works. Yep, it looks like the mouse interaction's working. I can delete things, that's good. Top level primitives. Now I want to move. This is already moved over, it looks like. Yep, so I want to do outputs.primitives or scene results.scene primitives. Alright, so I think, let's see if the rendering works for this. That was a lot. Right, the path is pixel. I want to keep it border, so I'll just do a primitive marker. Yep, that looks better. Cool. Alright, so I've got the rendering moved over. That certainly simplifies that right there, which is nice. I need to move the zoom. So let's go into my camera. And I'll put zoom in here. And then what is the default zoom that I've set? 1.2. And then state.zoom. Everywhere I have state.zoom, it needs to be state.camera.zoom. Reset. I think that worked. So now I don't have to pass in the zoom property as a separate parameter. Don't need it there, don't need it there, don't need it there. I like it. And then here, camera.zoom, camera.zoom. Did that just work? Yep, so there's my terrain. Go back to play mode. Looks good. Cool. I think that was a good refactor. That seems like a good place to commit, actually. Level editor, rendering, move to module. Now I need to move calc over. Yeah, so this is where all that stuff happens. Where I save to each one of the files. Cool with that. So in this case, input and calc are one function, which I guess I'm okay with. Some of them I have them separated, some of them I don't. I'm still trying to decide if it's worth having separate input and calc functions. And I had this concept of what's it called? If I go to my orbital management system, I've got like movement requests as a consolidation of inputs. Maybe it's worth generalizing it to just input requests. We'll see. So let's call it, because this has nothing to do with movement. It's like level stuff. So I'll call it input request for now. Calc level editor dot calc. And what do I want to give it? I want to give it input requests. Yeah, it's strong and depends. What I generally like to do with respect to like the it depends is remove like remove inconsistencies in names, and in this case positional stuff. So gravity comes before player, then I have movement requests at the end. Is that the best place to put it? I'm not sure, right? Portals, I have player, geometry, and terrain. Player always seems to come first. Now here it's called action requests. So in one place I have movement requests, in one place I have action request, and now I have input requests. Because I couldn't think of a good name for, I could call it editing requests. But at that point, why not just generalize it to be, these are the input requests that came in. So if I rename movement request to input request, that kind of makes that aspect of it consistent. And then same thing with portals. Instead of action request, just call it input requests across the board for all my modules. So that's kind of what I'm thinking towards, as opposed to having it depends. Just having that pattern for this specific project. I might move everything to input requests, but I guess we'll see. All right, so the input requests I want are level editor toggle. So did a level editor toggle occur? There we go. So each one of those means level editor toggling. And again, I still like the idea of like just doing this one line at a time and seeing the evolution. I got my calc function. So here, what I'll end up saying is if input requests dot level editor toggle. So game mode is at the top level. So the question is like, where do I put game mode? I don't want to pass in state. Do I just set the value and return it? That's kind of weird. Let's return it for now. Results is equal to that. And then I want the game mode equal to the game mode that I pass in. And then here, I pass in game mode State.game mode ends up just being game mode. And then I'll do results.game mode as that. So then I can synchronize it. Hello, SS2 Sire. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. How's your day going? What are you working on? What brings you here? All questions that would be nice conversation starters. Just woke up. Weekends are nice. You get to sleep in a little bit. It's like 11 a.m. over here. The Sire on Discord. Got it. Hey, welcome. Welcome from the Discord. So return results if results.game mode does not equal level editor. So then here I would just do state.game mode is that. Working on history display on the theme generator. I forgot the project. Have you posted anything in Show and Tell? Ah, yes. Your Bomberman game. Cool. Very nice. So I guess you've been using oh yeah, for the game jam. Yes, I remember you wanted to try to just have like some a la carte on demand game jam stuff. So you've been using DR for a little bit over a week now, I think. How you liking it so far? State.game mode is equal to results.game mode. Right, so that's the side effect that's coming out of the level editor calculation. So let's see if this works. Let's see if the toggling works. All right, I'm passing the input request in, hopefully. So if I press G, I get an exception. That's nice. Why is that? There we go. Alright, so that part works. I like it. Sometimes it's hard having to do a lot of stuff manually. We had this conversation about doing a lot of stuff manually. We've already discussed this. All the air quotes manual stuff that you're doing in DragonRuby ends up being automatic in Godot, but yields more code. Right. So at that point, is it manual, or is it more about like for free in other engines? I don't believe that. Right. And like, you know, I put in a lot of effort to try to have those conversations, because it's a common thing that people say, right? I have to do all this stuff manually, and I come back and say, well, okay, what are the manual things that you're having to do in DR that are automatic in another engine? And you know, animation states is something that people bring up as like, oh, animation states are all manual in DragonRuby and they're automatic in Unity or Godot. And I was like, okay, well, show me the automatic thing. And they show me pages of code. It's like, see, it's automatic and how easy it is. And then I show the DragonRuby version, and it's like 50% of the lines. So there's there's a term that I'm missing. It's not manual versus automatic, because I don't care if it's automatic. If it ends up creating more code and requiring an editor and requiring the understanding of an editor and learning of the editor, what's the benefit of having all these automatic things if it's just more code, more dependencies, more upfront learning and understanding of an editor? Like what does automatic versus manual mean at that point, right? So it sounds like you have another example of something that's manual in DR but automatic in some other engine, and I'd like to understand that. But yeah, like it does not compute in my head anymore when people say, "Oh, I have to do all these things manually," because it's like, okay, so you'd rather have air quotes automatic but write 3 times as much code. I don't know. I don't know how that makes. I don't know how to like reconcile that discrepancy in my head. And I need help with it, right? So if there's another feature that you've observed that is air quotes automatic in Godot or Unity that isn't in DragonRuby, I want to understand it, right? Definitely want to understand that. So you're doing like a theme generator. I'm assuming there's something other engines you get practically for free. Somehow free means more lines of code. Again, it doesn't compute for me, but it sounds like there's something that you've observed that you get for free that DragonRuby doesn't give you. And yeah, if I'd love to have a better understanding of those observations, because you know Godot really well, and it'd be helpful. It'd be helpful to find where the gaps are. All right, so player movement. I need up, down, and left, right. GUI stuff, though I haven't messed with any of the open source framework. GUI stuff in what regard? In Godot, I could just add a string to a list box and it shows up on a screen. So like Godot has like a list control of sorts. Let me see if I can. Let me see what you mean. Godot list box. Looks this list box container thing. So this container looks like they're doing it programmatically and not through the GUI. Let's see, list item. I mean, this is interesting. Like looking at the UI aspects. I like these segues. They're fun. Maybe in images, there's like a list box. Godot list box. No, I don't want a YouTube video. Godot list box. Make a list in Godot. Where is their list box control? Item list. Thank you. Godot item list. It's possible to modify the item list content. So what I'm assuming that you can. Okay, here we go. Maybe something like this. All right, here's your item list node that you're talking about. All right, so you've got items in a air quotes list, and there's your scene setup. So they're doing it programmatically too. Do you have like static items in your list as opposed to dynamic items? Because I'm assuming if you have dynamic items in the list, they have to be added programmatically, and you can't add them inside of using the GUI. Yeah, because this looks like they've got 1, 2, 3. These are all programmatically. So I mean, even though these are static, they're doing it through a script. So yeah, why are people doing it through a script if you can do it through the GUI? Something probably worth understanding. So input requests. Left, right, and up, down. Do you have like five or six items that are static in your input item list? Okay, passing left, right, and up, down. That's good. So then I can move this over. So the player needs to be passed in. This mutates, which I think is okay. For now, I can make it to where this is a pure function and the updates are done on the main screen. Show and tell. Let me look. I appreciate this. Like, I appreciate you showing me this kind of stuff. So you click a button, and item number, you increase the item number, and you've got this item list control, and you add an item where you convert it, and it adds it. So you drag and drop a button, you drag and drop an item, you wire up the button event, you associate a script with the button or the node. Okay, so you have a node, the node has an item list and a button. You associate the script with the node, and then you've got your item count, and then when you press the button, it adds it to the item list. Yep, it sends a press signal to the script. That makes sense. I mean, simple example is nice. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a simple example. Assuming that as your examples get more complicated, they whatchamacallit, it doesn't make the code explode, right? So it starts off easy and simple. Like, oh, look at all this automatic stuff, and then suddenly you want to click an item in the list, and now it's more code, right? Okay, yep. You can provide item textures. That's nice. What if you want to provide? What if you want the icon to animate? How would you do that? Like, say you wanted like a drop down. Your level editor had, uh, your bomb, and you want to show it the bomb animation. That I'm not sure how you do that. Okay. Um, but it should be easy, right? It should be automatic. Or has Godot cornered you in a specific scenario where now you have to gut all this automatic stuff for something manual? And I appreciate the facets of a game engine making like some of the common tasks easier, but when those common tasks become more complicated, I shouldn't have to delete the code that I wrote. Right? I should be able to expand on what was there. I do like that the item list has like an automatic scroll bar in there. That's actually really nice. Scroll bars are scroll views are tricky. Um, I'd be interested to know if that scroll view works well on mobile with like what's it called? Acceleration, right? When you flick up or flick down, whether the scroll view works correctly on mobile devices for that. But yeah, I agree. I think the built-in like item list control, especially for like simple items, um, that's very little code. It's nice. I'm sure someone has figured it out. I'm sure someone has figured it out too, and I'm sure that it's more code than doing it manually in DR. I'll guarantee. I will bet money on that. With all that, I do like the manual learning and setup in DR. Same deal there, right? Manual is a loaded term. They're getting the console a lot more than I'd like. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of the built-in GUI controls are nice on engines. I've never seen them. I've never seen them be sustainably managed once you get any kind of complexity or customization that you want to do to it. That's that's usually where those things fall apart. I think from a like quick and dirty standpoint, way less code than what you would do in DR. Long-term sustainability, I think, is suspect. But that's a good example. I think I agree. GUI themes are fairly easy. They are. However, I brought up the example of I want an animated icon. I want two icons. How do I do that? That's what I mean with respect to like customization and enhancements of the design list. And yeah, I would expect baseline enhancements like font, updating the font, different variations like that are hopefully really accessible and straightforward. Yeah, I think I think it's a good foundational control to have. And I think in your scenario where you're doing a game jam generator where it's kind of uh, quick and dirty, yeah, I would say Godot's like built-in controls are fairly productive, especially if you're not trying to make it look pretty, trying to make it work cross-platform. I can totally see that. That's a good example. Thanks. Thank you for that clarification. I mean it. Like I do appreciate it. Input requests. Wrong number of parameters. I need to pass in the player. Okay, so let's see if that works. So I'm in level editor mode. Yep, movement seems to be working. That's good. And then what's the next thing I want to do? So I want delete input requests. Delete would be inputs.keyboard.keydown.x. And I think all this can come over now. So return, do that. We'll get to creating doors pretty quickly. But these conversations are good. This is one of the reasons why streaming is helpful. It helps me see the, it prepares me for future conversations with other devs and what they expect out of an engine. So this would be input request.delete. I think hash response to delete, huh? Yep, hash response to delete, so that's probably a bad name for it. Delete terrain. That's one tricky part with hashes responding to prop types, is that hash has some base prop types that you can get tripped upon pretty quickly. And you don't really, and it's like a learned facet. It's like, oh, I can't call the hash value delete and then access it as a prop. Map as a key. Believe me, I have to call it like level or something ridiculous like that, and it's annoying. You can still access it, with this syntax, but yeah, it's frustrating. It can be surprising when that specific thing occurs. So I want to pass in the terrain, all the terrain aspects, terrain lava, and checkpoints. All right, so I want to pass those things in. Terrain, lava, and checkpoints. And then I can remove the state variables from here. Alright, so delete terrain requested. I think that got moved over, so let's see if delete works now. So I've got this, that's good. I can draw a piece of terrain, and then when I hit X, does it delete? Level editor, it's called level editor state. Level editor state. Okay, only one reference to that. Let's try the delete again. All right, got to pass that in. Again, it's enlightening to see all the all the dependencies. So like I have state.terrain, lava, and checkpoints. I probably need to create a levels object, so I don't have to pass in multiple parameters here. But this gives some indications of smells that I need to take care of. Alright, let's try the delete again. Cool, delete worked. Alright, so delete's in a good place. Zoom in and zoom out is the next, right? So I can... Oh, I have definitely broken zoom with my zoom options. So camera.zoom. Where do I set the zoom value? Yep, so this is the distance threshold for zooming. Yeah, and that's around launching. Camera zoom, that's the distance threshold. Where do I actually set the zoom? Right here. So when I'm calculating the camera, I don't want to set the zoom values. I don't want to explicitly set the zoom value if it's in level editor mode. Let me see if this is a quick change. All right, yep, that was a pretty quick change. So now that I'm in level editor mode, it excludes the zooming. I'm glad you like the music. Yeah, it's one, I'm glad it comes through, and like there's like some like progressive notes that get played. But yeah, musicality of the game was something important that I wanted to add to set the tone for the game itself. Alright, so I fixed the zoom. But yeah, I want calc underscore level editor. I want to get zooming in place. So my zoom request would be zoom in, would be inputs dot keyboard dot plus. Zoom out, minus. Yeah, the borders are shimmering because of subpixel rendering. Because I'm not snapping anything to like whole pixels, so you see a shimmer of the borders because they're only 1 pixel wide. These are just placeholder images, and this is why I recommend borders you should really only use for dev purposes, and actually have render targets or sprites for creating your borders that are more than 1 pixel. It gives it a nice effect of just like a weird interesting effect. But yeah, subpixel rendering is something that is painful when you have things that are only 1 pixel in size. No, not intentional at all. Do not make assets that are only 1 pixel wide. Alright, so we've got the input for the terrain. This is the input for zoom. And then this would be input request zoom in. And then this one would be input request zoom out. It is a nice effect though, but that was completely accidental. Zoom in and zoom out. So that's been removed from the main code. So now zooming is not working? Really? Zoom in and zoom out. Input request, zoom in, zoom out. It's not even running? Really? Oh, I'm not in level editor mode. Alright. State. Camera zoom. I need to pass camera in. So many dependencies. All right, zoom works. Looks good. Yep. Things, happy little accidents is definitely a great form of inspiration, and with the hot loading in DR in DragonRuby, you get a lot of these little happy little accidents because you just hot load something. You're like, oh, that made my state funky, but it gave me an idea. It's really cool. Yeah, I think using keyword args makes a lot of sense too. A couple of things that will limit the number of parameters that I'm passing in is the level, the terrain, lava, checkpoints, and game mode should probably be consolidated under a level, state.level, right? The level itself contains the current game mode and then all the collision boxes that exist there, as opposed to having them flat. So that would change it to just be state.level, which helps. But yeah, we're getting to a point where name parameters might be something that I want to explore. And then the next thing would be change terrain mode. Would be if tab is pressed. Input requests dot change terrain type. We're almost there. We'll be adding doors soon. All right, got that moved over. So level editor state. And then when I press tab, yep, that changes. So if I add lava here, go back, and then jump into the lava. There's my death animation. And then I should be able to delete. Why can't I delete the state? Delete terrain. Because I need to actually go to lava. There we go. Because I want to delete a specific terrain type. Yep, that makes sense. Excuse me. And the final thing will be the mouse. inputs requests, and this would be mouse. I do like this concept of an inputs request object. It kind of just generalizes those things. I don't use inner anymore. Yeah, I don't even use inner anymore because I do all my level manipulation through the mouse. Mouse.click. It's called input requests, not inputs requests. And then it would be state.level editor needs to be level editor state. All right, so that should be the rest. That should be all of it. Mouse and world space, wrong number of arguments. What does mouse and world space take? It takes in player, camera, and mouse. And taking this module based in Prost, you lose a lot of context, and that's why you have to, or you don't have local state and instance variables, so I have to pass things around, which is a quality of this, for better or worse. Let's try one more time. And safe terrain definition. All right, cool. And that gets moved out of the main thing, which is nice. I still got to figure out, Levy. This might be, if you're around, this might be something that you might be able to help me Google and figure out. Is that the Vim bindings don't do a great job with unmatched like method definitions. So if I want to select this entire method, I can't. Right? I can't be like VAP, which means paragraph, because how Ruby works. Now VAP works here. Because of the multiple end statements, that makes it tricky. And if I had like a void foobar, if this was a curly brace language, V around P, I guess it doesn't even work there. But yeah, I can't think of I don't know the Vim any Vim motions that can be like select this entire function. So if you have any ideas around that, that'd be freaking great. Where's the state value? 182. So it looks like I need to pass in train, lava, and checkpoints here also. Train, lava, and checkpoints. proposes VM. Is that even a thing? No, M does a mark. Yeah, I mean, I can do marks and set up marks around that, but oh, with the brackets. So 2 brackets on the right side, 1 bracket on the left. I didn't like that either. Yeah, I'm in normal mode. So if I do bracket, bracket, okay, that takes me there. That's cool. Shift, close bracket, M. Bracket, bracket. That's actually pretty nice. So if I'm inside of a function, I can do bracket, bracket to get to the top of the function. But and 2 brackets will get me to the end of the function, but all right, bracket, bracket to the top of the function, end bracket. It highlights the next def, but that's better than what I'm doing. Yes, this pleases me. That's really nice. But yeah, for some reason so if I do that, bracket, bracket to get to the top, so if I'm here, so starting from the end and getting to the top works, but if I start from the top and try to go to the end function, it highlights 1 more line. But thank you. Thank you. Way better than the crap I was doing. Lava. Lava. Cool. Alright, so I got all that moved over. Nice. Low level if needed, that can stay there. I'm fine with that. And then level defaults. Do we have anything inside of defaults for level editor? I set a default collision type, but I think that's it. Okay, but this is a good change. All right, now we can get to doors. So I want a concept of a door. So I'm in my level editor mode. Doors, yep. So I want to put a door here. And then I want to put a button here that unlocks the door for a period of time and then closes the door again. So how do we'll get the door in place first, and then we'll figure out how the button interacts with the door. Because I kind of want to associate like a door with a button, but then I have to associate a function. Yeah, like a button needs to be tied to some object, and then when the button is entered, an event of some type needs to be invoked for me to mutate the object that it's dealing with. But let's get the door in place first, and then we'll figure out the button interaction. Doors. All right. So this should be a quick edit. So here's the types that I have here. Doors. When doors. Terrain. All right, so now when I press tab, there's my doors option. And for persistence, I'll go into doors and save to doors. Boop. I'm not rendering doors. Where's my render? Yep, there's my prefabs. Where are my renderings? Where are my door renderings? Oh, I think that's in the game itself. No? Where do I do my door rendering? Render function, render player, render collision boxes. That's what I called it. Lots of duplication there. I could probably clean that up quite a bit. State.doors. Load level if needed. Not state.doors. Load that. Quite a bit of repetition there. Point of consolidation at some point would be good. All right, let's see if I can render a door now. Still doesn't render. Why not? Why aren't you rendering the door? Let me look at my data. I do have doors. There are values in there. That part looks correct. The rendering of the collision boxes, borders, state.doors. Make sure that's being populated correctly. Yep, doors have values in there. Why aren't you rendering doors? I'm setting a color. Am I setting a color? I think I'm setting a color. Where the hell do I set the color for any of this? Why are you empty? When like, WTF. All right, let's see what I changed. Got game.doors, level editor. If the type is doors, I want to save to the doors thing. And then for rendering, I populate it and then I render it. Yeah, there's my color. So doors should be red right now. Let me reset the game again. Okay, there it is. I just had to deal with the reset of the state. So there's my door. Let's make doors brownish. How do you create brown? It's yellow. I'll make them yellow. I know how to make yellow with RGB. Yeah, there's my door. And then for the physics, I want to. Look at terrain and doors. Oh, brown is just dark orange. It is, isn't it? I know how to make orange. And I just gotta make it darker. RGB skills. I never thought of it that way. I guess brown is basically dark orange, isn't it? Yellow is more visible though. So terrain, instead of terrain, this needs to be I should probably rename terrain to walls. I'll make that change in a second. Seg fault? Your face is a seg fault. That's probably because of the C function. I need to splat these args. It's kind of scary when everything like just goes silent. You posted a YouTube video. What is this YouTube video?
Hello. This video will be
brown and orange. The seg fault that you missed was I didn't splat the args, so the axis line bounding box collision uses the C function find intersect direct, and that assumes a flattened array. And what I gave it was a non-flattened array. So then I don't explicitly check for the type and throw an exception based on that, so you get a seg fault. That's the challenge with C functions and moving some of the geometry facilities into C, is that the error messages aren't as clean. Cool. So I have a door. Now I need a button. C is... yeah, I need to learn how to see at some point. Definitely need to learn how to see at some point. Because I should get like some sort of exception, because I'm casting, I'm explicitly casting each pointer to like a hash pointer or an object pointer, and I need to handle for like method missing or something, and explicitly see if an exception is raised, but I have a repro now. Okay, so now I need buttons. Yeah, I'll watch the YouTube video maybe at another break. Alright, so level editor. I have doors, buttons, safe terrain needs terrain, lava, checkpoints, doors, buttons. When will I go to named arguments? Who knows? Alright, doors and buttons being passed in. Save terrain definition takes in doors and buttons. Everything takes in doors and buttons everywhere. Why can't I delete that door? Delete terrain. Yep. So same cases, like a lot of case statements here, and it's been a long time since I've added something, but yeah, this is one of those things where I'm sure I'm gonna have a lot more entities than just doors and buttons. So I need to generalize this so I don't have these case statements everywhere. Door/G. I've never compiled, well, I've compiled Emacs from source once, but yeah, I just use the pre-compiled packages for Emacs. I'm gonna call these buttons. Alright, can I delete doors now? Still can't delete doors. Why can't I delete doors? I gotta set it to door. Okay, that works. And now I need to put buttons. Change terrain type. More copy pasta. I don't know if there is my SFTP, but when I upload the web version of a compiled game, the raw release permissions on files, folders aren't set. It works on itch. But yeah, there's different file types that you need to be able to return. I'm not sure if I wonder if S3 handles it automagically. Actually, it does, because fiddle.dragonruby.org works. All right. I can go to buttons now. Save terrain definition. When I get this button functionality working, then I'll do the refactor and go to name parameters or something. All right, so there's my door. I need to get buttons rendering. Buttons will be green. Another sec fault. What the fuck? Oh, again, a C function right here. I need to make it to do that. That's like fix. Be more forgiving on the geometry functions. Yep. Same bullshit here. Member map attribute buttons does not exist. Load level if needed. Oh, yep. There we go. So there's my button. So now I need to associate a button with the door. Visually. So in my level editor, now I want to set how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this quickly? How do I want to do this quickly? Could I just do ordinal positioning? Ugh, that's gross. I could do it quickly like that. Let's keep going down this horrible rabbit hole and just do it quickly. So load level if needed. And then what I'll do is state.doors.each. Well, there might be some buttons in our associated with doors. Not yet though. State.doors.each. Do door. Each with index. God, this is gonna be gross. State.buttons. I.door equals door. If button. All right, so bracket goes there. Shift V, end bracket. Yeah, not ideal, but not terrible. All right, so now let me add a door. There's my door. I need to change that also. Color. Yeah, I just set everything green. So the level editor needs help. I would handle the collision type differently. Instead of a case statement, I just store them all in an array and do a rotate on change and pick the first element. Yeah, if you can post that example, let me show you what it looks like. I have terrain and doors. That's a flat. I do a splat of both those arguments, and then do that. So I'm assuming the rotate will remove this specific intermediary, I guess. I haven't used rotate. Alright, so render collision boxes. You had a case expression that handles switching between terrain modes. Yeah, I think for the terrain modes, the convention here is always to just take the name of the terrain. So if I just take the type here. Oh, you're talking about the swapping. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Right here. Store them all into an array, and then do a rotate. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll do the refactor after I get this rendering done. After I get the door behavior in place. There's a lot of refactoring I need to do in the level editor. Okay, so now that I have the border, I'm going to actually create... I'm going to go ahead and change this to primitives. Because I'm going to be putting lines in here now. So same thing, Shift V, bracket, bracket. Oh, I need to do bracket, bracket first. And Shift V, close bracket, close bracket. That formatting is crappy. Definitely not how I wanted that to be formatted. That's what I get for trying to format. Yep, that looks definitely weird. And what the hell happened there? Really? You just kind of like, you're just gonna just put that over there? So Shift V. Okay, that was better. I like that. Path pixel needs to be changed to primitive marker border. All right, but for buttons, door line is nil if rect.door and make sure a door is here. So there should be a door. Yep. If rect.door, I want the door line to be what? Button center is equal to geometry dot rect center point. Horrible name. Yes, I know. Door center will be rect dot door. Oh, that button. All right. So now I have the centers, and then door line would be X for button center.x, Y button center.y, X2 door center.x, Y2 door center.y. And then I want to give it the door line in here. I want to merge that with orange. Let's do an orange. Red would be 255. Blue would be 128. Green would be 0. And that all needs to be converted into camera space. Camera dot. Did I really call it camera dot to camera space? Yeah. I need the rect. To camera space. That's an interesting question. Does camera space expect a rect or a point? Expects a point, which is good. Player camera. And then I want to do the same thing here. Player camera. And then those lines will be inside of the thingy. Of course it works. It didn't work. I'm going to put the button center. 1482, 1231. What am I doing wrong here? I get the center point of the rectangle. Oh, the rectangle's already been converted to a camera space. I shouldn't have to do that. Oh, wait. I need to convert the rectangles to camera space and then get the points, the center points of those. Totally makes sense. Button. Camera button. It's this same value here, I know. Camera door. So now that I have that, I get the center points for those. And that will definitely work. What is that? Why? 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 Like, what even? That's not correct. I need to camera button and camera door. Rawr! Nothing shows up. Why? Why? X and Y, width and height, all right, let me just make the door line just the button sender center with a width and height. See if that, just to see if that renders. Why isn't this working? Oh, that's why. There we go. Better. But it's still like going off to nowhere. Yeah, why are you going over there? Why is the value negative? Why is the Y value negative for the door? Is it because the door doesn't exist anymore? Camera's in the right place. Well, let me bring in my REPL. Stop printing everything to the screen. I have 2 doors. That's why it's pointing to the door all the way over there. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Wrong freaking door. Yeah, it's pointing to this door. There we go. All right. So I have a button associated with the door. Cool. Why in the world are you compiling from scratch? What is the reason for doing the compilation? Because you can't? I mean, that's worth it. Like, it's nice to compile from the things. Shouldn't you be building a video game? Why aren't you building video games? Why are you compiling Emacs? Alright, so I want to calculate doors. So I'm going to find... you don't want to use VS Code anymore. You don't have to compile Emacs from scratch to use Emacs. Did you compile VS Code from scratch when you started using VS Code? Why shave that yak now? Door collision is equal to state dot doors dot find intersect rect player state dot doors. What OS are you on? Are you using Linux? Windows? That's surprising. I would expect it to work. Wait, what? Ah, door collision. Alright, no door collision. Still no door collision. You're in the door right here! Oh, wait. Yeah, oh, button. It needs to be calc buttons. Button collision. Button collision. Calc buttons and doors. Calc buttons and doors. Yeah, I don't even know what version of Emacs I'm using. That was the wrong command. I'm on 28.2. You could probably just go to like emacs.org and just download the precompiled graphical Emacs for your given operating system. You might also want to try NeoVim. NeoVim's an option too. Its extension capabilities, I'm sure, are comparable. Got 5 people in Twitch chat. Welcome, newcomers. Feel free to ask any questions if you've got any. Compile 28.3. Okay. All right, so button collision. So if button collision and button collision dot door dot opened at is equal to state dot tick count, and then I want to put what? Wait. Button collision dot door, and now I want to put what? State dot doors. Door 0. All right, let me see if this works. Of course it didn't. All right, that looks good. Yep, and OpenDat is set. So then I want to say I want to move the door out of the way, right? Or make it smaller or something. What I can do is the door itself. I'll set the color to this. And if door dot opened at, I want to set the color to, now I'm going to use orange. Cool. So now it's open. So now I need to test how long. Now I need to test how long it takes to get to that door. So let's say I'm here. One 1,000. 2 seconds. 2 seconds is probably a good time. If d dot open dot and d dot open dot elapsed time is greater than 2 seconds, 120 frames, I'll close the door again. Door is closed. Door is open. After 2 seconds, it should close. It does. Cool. So then here, I want to say, I'm going to reject any doors where they are open. Yep, so I can go through that door. Nice. And I can't go back through it. I have door mechanics working. That is amazing. All right, so if I create another button here, do I have to create the door before the button? Yeah, if I create the button there, everything explodes. Let me go to my data and undo that change. So I gotta create the door before I create the button. This is fine. This is totally fine. All right, let's create the door first. And then I'll create the button. There we go. So those are linked. Yep, and it closes before I can get to it. Cool. So I have to set a portal. Go back. Set another portal. Yep, so I got my portal mechanic. Look at that. Cool, so you can use portals to get through doors. Shit, how do I get out? Fuck. Oh, I guess I can cheat. Oh, that actually works pretty well. Wait, can you even get... That'd be funny if you can just, like, jump over. Yeah, you can probably get up there. Yeah, so a couple points to refactor, but... Right, so if I do something like that, do I have to go... Am I forced to go through the door? Yeah, because you can't make it over that wall. So you have to go through the door. Dope. Didn't do it in time. Yep, you make it through the door. Do some power-up thing. And then you're able to exit the area. And come back. And you shouldn't be able to... Ah, you can still get over. Make it a little bit taller. There you go. Holy shit, I got a door mechanic. So that forces you to use the portals. And you can't use your orbital management system. Yeah, and you run out of steam by the time you get up there. The other thing is, I'm wondering if, like, I don't think that launch needs power anymore. Like you can always do a maximum. Yeah, you can always do a maximum launch, and I think that helps the usability. Let's try again. Yeah, you definitely don't have enough oomph to get over that. So you have to go through the door. And to get through the door, you do your door thing. and then escape. Nice. That's amazing. Door functionality in place. Love it. I don't need the launch power anymore. Launch power will always be the maximum. Which is a launch power of 4. That simplifies that mechanic significantly. Yeah, I don't need the launch power. I can get rid of that variable. Launch power will always be 4. I don't care about the launch power there. Yeah, I don't care about increasing or decreasing the launch power anymore. I need to fix mouse and touch-based stuff. Yeah, so you'll always launch at maximum power, which is good. Yep, so you got that. Alright, so you're using all state stuff instead of make cloud. So that's interesting. What changed your mind? Like, why move away from classes? Or like, what was like the breaking point for you? There's nothing wrong with classes. Yeah. And you can nudge left and right. Yeah, simplicity. When you're starting, yeah, it's and I agree with you. Like, when you're starting a project, it's gonna start. It's gonna be a small project starting off. You don't need classes for everything. Make classes when the complexity constitutes it. Right. And just because you don't use classes doesn't mean it's not object-oriented. That's another like mistake a lot of devs make, is that classes have nothing to do with OO programming. It's a way to do OO, but classes does not mean... just because you don't use classes does not mean you're not doing OO. I think that's a common, like... it's a common misconception. Alright, got my movement. Get through there. Launch power isn't a thing, which is nice. So I can just shoot. Freaking beautiful. Get aim reticle alpha, render aim reticle. Only want to render the aim reticle if they're on the floor. Perfect. Yep, and you don't have time. This game's coming along. I like that mechanic. Yeah, like I don't even need to be able to nudge left and right now because I can just do that. I don't need the nudge mechanic anymore. Yeah, because you can just stop wherever you want, just like that. Set my portals. Crap. So Lovey, were you using like VS Code with Vim bindings until now? Beautiful. This is so nice. And I need to add a checkpoint on the VS Code bindings have come a long way. They're not terrible. It's just the interactions, the global interaction across is not great. Like you can control WH to the terminal, but you can't control WH back to your buffer. What the hell? Like why? How to fall into lava, yes. I also want to be able to add portals on lava, right? On lava. Right now you can't. I need to add a checkpoint here. Can't get out. It's like, crap, I can't get out. Crap. Falling in lava. That's fine. Let me make sure the checkpoint works. Crap. Didn't make it through in time. Maybe 3 seconds is... 2 seconds is too short. Yeah. 4 seconds. 4 times 60 is 240. Right, so if I accidentally go into lava, let's see what happens. So the checkpoint should go back on the other side of the door. There you go. Like that. Let me go back and make sure I still can't get through the door with the expanded timer. I might have actually been able to make it. Let me try again. Oh. Gotta open the door. Yep, so there's the opening of the door. I can make it through. Damn it! I can put the door farther away. We set it at 3 seconds. Let's see if that's comfortable. Doors open. Yep, that's enough time to get through. And the door should be thinner anyways. it's promising that I'm finding it enjoyable just moving around. That's actually promising. Cool. Ship it. This is great. Yeah, so I think the next thing on my list will be enemies. So more usage of the orbital mechanic. Yeah, like if you go down that specific area, you get here and there's like a timing piece where you got to be like, oh, there's an enemy, pop up and then pop back down. So timing things for the orbital stuff, like fine-grained control like that to get through maybe tricky little situations. Yeah, and then portals are more stationary, like a stationary action. Gotta fix that. Portals, complicated. Okay, so that's repeatable. Is that repeatable? 'Cause that's a pretty ridiculous bug. Yeah, that's definitely repeatable. All right, let's create a replay. Start the replay, make sure it works. All right, that's what I want to fix. We'll go to portals. It's nice that everything's in a module. Run the replay. Right. So right. DX should always be positive. Beautiful. Worked. Nice. What about left, left? Yeah, I think left, left is correct. Yeah, left, left works. Fix portal bug. I think that's a good place to stop. I gotta think about enemies. I have to clean up the level, level editing stuff, association of doors. General concept is there. I think that proves out using portals for that. Yeah, so it's about expanding on the existing capabilities and see if the game remains interesting or if I need to add additional things like stopping time, hook shot, what have you. But seeing how far I can push these mechanics, keeping those things simple, and then letting the player think of creative ways to use launching, orbital positioning, and portals together, without adding too much other stuff. But yeah, I need to think through that, and I think this is a good stopping point. Get some lunch or something. Might stream later on tonight. We'll see. But thanks for hanging out, everyone. Thanks, Levy, for helping me with that Vim motion. Thanks, Sire, for talking about some of the Godot stuff and like list items. It's good to have those conversations. Yep. Really appreciated. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully I'll stream later on tonight, maybe. We'll see. All right. Y'all have a good one.